Travis Wingezel. You'd think that because of the Book of Mormon, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints would be fully supportive of Israel and Jews generally. Because 2 Nephi chapter 29, verse 4, verse 3. And because my words shall hiss forth, many of the Gentiles shall say, a Bible, we have got a Bible, and there cannot be any more Bible. But thus saith the Lord God, O fools, they shall have a Bible, and it shall proceed forth from the Jews, mine ancient covenant people. And what thank they, the Jews, for the Bible which they received from them? You do know what the Bible consists of, right? Shouldn't have to explain it to you. Yea, what do the Gentiles mean? Do they remember the travails and the labors and the pains of the Jews, and their diligence unto me in bringing forth salvation unto the Gentiles? See, I was kind of confused by this, thinking that the 12 apostles and Jesus were literal history true. O ye Gentiles, have ye remembered the Jews, mine ancient covenant people? Nay, but ye have cursed them, and have hated them, and have not sought to recover them. But behold, I will return all these things upon your own heads, for I, the Lord, have not forgotten my people. Thou fool that shall say a Bible, we have got a Bible, and we need no more Bible. Have ye obtained a Bible, save it were by the Jews? So what the bleep is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints doing, claiming that the Book of Mormon, the Bible, and Joseph Smith are Christian with Jesus? What the bleep are they doing supporting Islam, a Christian branch off, telling Mormons that we're just like Muslims, demonstrating to to Mormons, putting in Kieran as the latest apostle. What thank this church and Mormons, the Book of Mormon. Put the Book of Mormon in now. And because my words shall hiss forth, many of the Mormons shall say, a Book of Mormon, we have got a Book of Mormon, and therefore we cannot have any more of Joseph Smith's papers, sermons. But thus saith the Lord God, O fools, Mormons shall have a Book of Mormon, and it shall proceed forth from Joseph Smith, mine ancient covenant prophet, or prophesied prophet. What thank the Mormons, Joseph Smith, for the Book of Mormon which they received from him? What do the Mormons mean? Do Mormons not remember? Do Mormons remember the travails, the labors, and the pains of Joseph Smith, and his diligence unto me in bringing forth salvation unto the Mormons? O ye Mormons, have ye remembered Joseph Smith, mine ancient prophesied prophet? Nay, but ye have cursed him, ye have hated him, and have not sought to recover him? Yeah. Church didn't get his bones in the deal with the community of Christ. But behold, I will return all these things upon your own heads, for I, the Lord, have not forgotten Joseph Smith. Thou fool, that shall say, a Book of Mormon. We have got a Book of Mormon, and we need no more words from Joseph Smith in the Joseph Smith papers. Have ye obtained a Book of Mormon, save it were by Joseph Smith? That's called likening the scriptures unto yourself. It's in the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon, by Spencer W. Kimball, claims that it's another testament of Jesus Christ. By saying testament of Jesus Christ, they're not talking about a spiritual witness, that some Jewish author had a spiritual witness feeling and wrote it down, and it's about a character named Jesus, because the church makes it very clear. The prophets make it very clear. The manuals make it very clear. It's literal history. It's a physical reality claim. Now, there's this thing called science, which, when used correctly, not tampered with by religious feelings, is the pursuit of truth of the physical reality. They do measurements, they do research, they develop theories that incorporate logical Socratic methodology, and then perform testing for confirmation or rejection of a theory. By this process, truth is established in the physical realm. And thus, all ex-vo nevermos know that the Book of Mormon is not literal history. That's why they're not in the church anymore. The question now is, why are you Mormons? Why are you still going to church? Why are you still lying? Because the church tells you to reject and deny science when it comes to the Book of Mormon. Hoping to throw that away. But instead, they remove or replace the definitions of manifest the truth in Moroni, so that you now believe that you're supposed to read a book claiming to be in the physical reality, but not use science to study and research it, and instead just get a feeling that it's true, and thus join the church and pay the church money to make them richer. Why are you so easily conned? You are well aware of Isaiah. And Joseph Smith repeats it in his first vision, talking about Christians, all of Christianity, draw near to the Lord with their lips, but their hearts are far from him. Well, if you go to a Christian service, it doesn't sound like their hearts are far from them. Oh wait, it's Jesus, not the Jewish Christ of the Jewish authors. Oh yeah, the Bible was written by Jews, wasn't it? And so likewise, Mormons do the same error. You draw near to the Book of Mormon with your lips, and you've got, strong feelings. I've got to validate your feelings and emotions on this, don't I? Because you threatened me to. You use emotional blackmail. You need to accept my feelings. My feelings are real. My feelings are true. You cannot deny my feelings. Watch me. Feelings are an emotional response to the interpretation of the physical reality. So when you are manipulated in the physical reality, your feelings are unjustified. They are wrong. Because you are far, far away from the physical reality of truth. So, I know all Mormons know 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2 says that the Book of Mormon is written in the learning of the Jews and the language of the Egyptians. Now, we already know this is not literal history. There was no Nephi during this time period claimed. And so he's not actually writing on gold plates. And so, therefore, Joseph Smith, in his 1838 canonized version of history, is also not historical, not literal history either. So Joseph Smith's 1838 history is written just like the Book of Mormon is. And these two are written just like the Bible was. Ta-da! So now you need to study and research to figure out how and what manner is the learning of the Jews and their writing. Well, we already know it's not literal history. You need to go to the first creed of Christianity, or you can go to Joseph Smith's talking about it in verse 19 of his history, and then to his follow-up. Well, it's actually his follow-up in Liberty Jail, March 1839. Where he goes into greater detail in explaining the damage that the first creed of Christianity caused, and what it still causes to this day. And so, you need to know the creed, that it's a new religion replacing the Jewish religion. It's claiming as their Christ the name Jesus, not Emmanuel of the Jews. This Jesus has a nature and character called Trinity. Constantine made up a word. It doesn't exist in the Greek vocabulary. And so it's translated into English as not real. It is not in the physical reality. And thus science can't touch him. Let's Star Trek, first law of metaphysics again. Nothing unreal exists. And things that are not real cannot be made to exist with feelings. You cannot wish upon a star and create out of nothing. Creatio ex nihilo. And so, yeah, the creed also turned the Jewish scriptures into literal history, putting Jesus into the Roman time period. And it's weird, because Christians know the Book of Mormon is not literal history, and yet they still claim the Bible is literal history. But didn't the Book of Mormon plagiarize the Bible? So how is the Book of Mormon not? People don't think. When you're using emotional arguments, you're not thinking. Because of this change to literal history, the Jews now murdered Jesus, and thus the Book of Mormon, saying that you have hated them and cursed them and not sought to reclaim them. And that despite this, Jesus, having failed to fulfill prophecy, is now being given a second chance for a second coming to do it right this time. The only problem is that he failed to show. The latter days are over with. He never showed. Oh, that tricky Nelson. He tricked us. He said he was hoarding the money for the second coming of Jesus, which was supposed to be April's conference, in which he hands over the money to Jesus in that conference with his coronation, king of the world, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, that tricky Nelson. He had no intention of giving it to Jesus. He's keeping it for himself. Sneaky. He claims the parable of the talents. That's what the parable of the talents means. The second coming of the Lord of the Master to the servants who were taking the talents into the city to invest in them to make more money. That's what that was all about. And Nelson said, this is what we're doing for finances. And so the whistleblower, David Nelson, tells us that they were given orders by the First Presidency and all the corporate board that they are supposed to hoard the money and increase it for the second coming, for Armageddon. And yet, no giving it to Jesus, because Jesus was a no-show. Interesting. So, yeah, why are you easily conned, Mormons? With your incorrect interpretation, you do not see the criminal nature of this church and their prophets. You do not see they're scamming you out of your money. You do not see the bigger picture of what they're causing throughout the world and in the United States. You know their final solution and what they intend to do. And yet, you think Jesus is real, don't you? Not making the connection. Or you're a neo-Danite. And you know damn well what you're doing. And so now we know what the Bible isn't. Now we know what the Book of Mormon isn't. So what are they? Joseph Smith tells us in the introduction to the Book of Mormon that it is written by the spirit of prophecy and revelation. The Book of Mormon confirms this. Amazing. That's where Joseph Smith got it from. Second Nephi 25 is where prophecy comes from. I, Nephi, speak somewhat concerning the words which I have written, for they know not concerning the manner of prophesying among the Jews. And then Mormon chapter 8, verse 33, talking about the Book of Mormon. Look ye unto the revelations of God, for behold, the time cometh at that day, latter days, you missed it, when all these things must be fulfilled. So now we can put the Book of Mormon to the test. We can judge the Book of Mormon as to whether it's correct or not in the learning of the Jews as prophecy and revelations, because they say, in the latter days, all of the revelations and prophecies will be fulfilled. So is this true? Latter days are over. We can now find out. Oh no, I'm scared. Is the Book of Mormon going to be true? Or should I go back to believing and feeling that it's literal history and deny science? Pull my kids out of school because of teaching science. How dare they? Yeah, I've been doing the videos all these years about everything that got fulfilled, everything that's about to come to be fulfilled, and then when it got fulfilled, etc., etc., etc. So you're a little behind on my videos. Not just 2 months that Jasmine's behind on, and she's increasing the... Jasmine! I love Jasmine. Her comments are inspired. Her questions are just awesome because they're based on her actually studying. She's doing the research. And she's not Mormon. I've been telling you. Missionaries came and said, hey, we're from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Here's the Book of Mormon. Pray and get the right feeling and join the church like your neighbor. And they were rebellious. They studied. They did research in the Joseph Smith papers, mind you. Not anti-Mormon, anti-Christ, apostate Korah whores who tell you that the Book of Mormon is not literal history, but have no clue what the learning of the Jews is either. So how then do we interpret the prophecies and revelations? Well, Joseph Smith tells us exactly how. He gave us the decoder ring. It's similar to the mood ring. Changes color with your mood shift. Joseph Smith is prophesying in section 103 about the latter days, obviously. He's saying that Mormons are going to pollute the Salt Lake Valley, if not the whole of Utah, along with other surrounding areas. And so their Mormons are going to be thrown down, for I will not spare them if they pollute their inheritances. In 63 or 4, come out of Babylon, for I will not spare any that remain in Babylon. Yeah, the Babylon is a great and abominable church. That's Christianity. That's this church of Jesus Christ, Mormons. Because the Book of Mormon is to Mormons. Thus, the great and abominable church is the church you are held in bondage to right now. Or Joseph Smith is not a prophet, seer, revelator, and translator. Is he false, Mormons? Is he? Nelson just got up and confessed that Joseph Smith is true. You wear the symbol of Joseph Smith being true. Shh, it's a secret. It's your underwear. Cover up and hide. Right there in front of your face. He tells you you're in bondage. Oh my God. And so, the redemption of Zion. Dun dun dun. Therefore, I will raise up. Probably should have done this first. Let's do this first, and we'll come back to this. In the Book of Mormon, 2 Nephi, chapter 3, we learn about the concept of a Christ in Judaism. There are two main Christs. They are Messiah, Christ, Ben Joseph, Joseph of Egypt, a descendant of Joseph of Egypt, who is to be the Messiah, to prepare the way for the coming of the Messiah, son of David. That's King David. Yeah, King, anointed, Christ, Messiah, David. Huh. This is the learning of the Jews. And so a descendant of King David, who is also a descendant of Joseph, to come in the future. This is Jesus. He is a Jewish character about Messiah Ben David in the future, not literal history of an actual guy named Jesus. Matthew makes that very clear when he says the prophecy is his name is Emmanuel, but we're going to call him Jesus, just so that you know. And yet, over 4 billion in the world think it's literal history. And so, verse 6, for Joseph of Egypt. Oh, is this going to be about Messiah Ben Joseph? Yes, yes it is. We all know this is Joseph Smith Jr. Saying, a seer shall the Lord my God raise up. Oh, that was in 107 or 103's teaser. Yeah. Who shall be a choice seer unto the fruit of my loins. Verse 7, and Joseph truly said, thus saith the Lord unto me, a choice seer will I raise up out of the fruit of thy loins. You getting the point here? Seed, egg, baby. And so, again, we go to Matthew. Jesus is supposed to be the seed of King David. That's the whole purpose of the lineage of men. But wait a minute. Joseph is, not Jesus, who's supposed to be named Emmanuel. Weird. And so yes, Joseph Smith, we know, had his father, who's Joseph Smith Sr., seed into Lucy Mack, egg, producing baby Joseph Smith Jr. Real basic science. and kind of essential for sex ed. You know, science. And everybody's screwing that one up. Dear God. How do people get fooled on that one? And so, verse 5. Joseph of Egypt truly saw our day, and he obtained a promise of the Lord that out of the fruit of his loins, Messiah ben Joseph, the Lord God would raise up a righteous branch unto the house of Israel. And to be remembered in the covenants of the Lord. Yes, I purposely left out that line. Good for you for following on. That the Messiah should be made manifest unto them in the latter days. So Joseph Smith, to be remembered in the covenants of the Lord, that Messiah ben David should be made manifest unto Mormons in the latter days. Now, do you see what's going on? This is the learning of the Jews that you replaced with Christianity and Jesus. So verse 9, Joseph Smith shall be great, like the man like Moses, Messiah ben David. Messiah ben Joseph, Messiah ben David. Easy breezy cover girl right here in the Book of Mormon for you. The only way it can be complicated is if you impose Christian Jesus in here. And so, yes, not the Messiah, but a branch which was to be broken off. So that's the Joseph lineage. And so if Joseph Smith is from one branch and Messiah ben David is going to be a Mormon, but from a branch off of Joseph Smith, then we need only go to Joseph Smith Sr., who was the original Holy Grail bloodline. One branch off became Joseph Smith Jr., so the other branch off from Joseph Smith Sr. would be one of Joseph Smith Jr.'s brothers. Which brother came to this valley, or the seed came to this valley. And so it can't be Joseph Jr., and we know that didn't happen. Wasn't Samuel, he was murdered. Wasn't Alvin, died. Presbyterian, hilarious. Lucy's biography, hilarious. I refer to my son's account. I'm not going to tell you what happened. Now William. Nope. Yeah, nobody else but Hiram's wife and boys. Heber C. Kimball took them. And thanks to that, we now know the plot to overthrow America. And so, you can look up on Wikipedia about Messiah ben Joseph, and they throw in the righteous one and Elijah, because the Jews believe that Elijah is suddenly going to come to his temple and sit at a Jewish household's house next week and explain whether or not there's 300 or 613 or 614 laws as to whether or not they should have a cup set aside just for Elijah. You're looking beyond the mark. Oh my hell. So, Deuteronomy 18. In Matthew, when Jesus says he's referring to the law, this is the book, Deuteronomy. And I helped correct the footnotes to place the prophecies with Deuteronomy, assuming that they were from Deuteronomy. There were others from prophets who I made sure to put the footnote for those prophets. Yes, I've impacted your life and you don't know me. You come to one video. Amazing. And you think you know better than me. Deuteronomy 18, 15 through 19, and it should sound familiar because you read verse 40 of the second vision, right? And so you went to Acts to see that that it's precisely as it stands in our New Testament. Yeah, this is it. The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet. Raise up from the midst of thee. So now you know the Book of Mormon is saying this is Mormons. This is a Mormon. Of thy brethren, like unto me, unto him shall ye hearken. Precisely as it stands in our New Testament. You checked it, right? And so, working my way back to 103, the burning love inside. Section 107, verse 91 and 92, 91 and 92. And again, the duty of Joseph Smith, the president of the office of the high priesthood, is to preside over the whole church, and to be like unto who? Not Peter, Moses. A man like Moses. Joseph Smith. Yeah, man like Moses. We just read it from the Book of Mormon. Messiah ben Joseph is the first who set up the church, who has the Book of Mormon to teach people about the learning of the Jews and the prophecies of all the prophets about Messiah ben David, who would be a Mormon. Mormons are supposed to look for him so that they can come out of bondage. So they can cast off their underwear and have a big old bonfire burning. But please just be women. I don't want to see men naked. Behold, here is wisdom. And just understand, in Utah you will be thrown in prison for the rest of your life as a deviant. They don't allow protests, especially naked protests. You gotta cover up and hide. It's Lucifer's way. Lucifer's rules here in Utah. Behold, here is wisdom to be a seer, revelator, translator, and prophet, having all the gifts, not titles, gifts, which means you will know him by his results. Fruit are the results. Babies are the results. Seed, egg, results in baby. The consequences. This is Sex Ed 101. That's science. That's how you're supposed to be happy. You are commanded to put the seed in egg. That's the commandment. The first commandment given to man, put your seed in the egg. Oops, you missed. Try again. Back when I had my family, Clayton, who was 1.5, maybe not quite 2, or maybe 2, not quite 3. I came to me upstairs. I was in their bedroom, and he was sad. He showed me a paper, and it had attempts to make a circle, and he was sad because he couldn't do it. And so he wanted to learn how to make a circle, draw a circle. And so I took his hand with the pencil or crayon or whatever it was, and I put it on the paper, and I just had him repeat over and over again circles. And he thought that was more fun than drawing a single circle. Practice, who cares if it makes perfect? It's fun. So yes, accomplishments, not titles. These prophets only claim the title. You give loyalty to the title. You have to obey and believe in the title. They have nothing to show for it. Nelson, it is, oh my God. But when you put title over accomplishments, you get punked. Okay, now let's go to section 103. See, only the chosen ones have stuck out this long. And Jasmine's gonna miss this. Okay, 16, section 103. I will raise up, Deuteronomy, unto my people a man. Notice they don't call him a prophet here. He doesn't call him a prophet here. It's supposed to be understood, because he says, who shall lead them like as Moses. He has accomplishments, not title. This is how you're going to know him, Mormons. He will be one of you and he will have the accomplishments of seer, revelator, prophet, and translator. He will have the accomplishments. Like I said, the latter days are over with. You should have known him by now. For Mormons are the children of Israel and the seed of Abraham. And ye must needs be led out of bondage. Is Joseph Smith a true prophet? Or is he a liar and a fraud, Mormons? You choose your agency. That's Lucifer's agency, is the false dichotomy argument. You're either with me or against me. Yeah. You wear the bondage symbol. Your underwear. Ta-da! So shall the redemption of Zion be. And so here you have who your Christ is and who you need to plug in to all the Jewish stories. You know who the people are. It's you, Mormons. You know the great and abominable church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And because Nelson is the president of the church during the latter days, it's him who's the enemy, the false prophet. That's in verse 20 of Deuteronomy. Doctrine and Covenants 85, verse 8. That's where he got it from. Okay, so we'll again go over the Book of Mormon for you. You're studying the Book of Mormon this year in the learning of the Christians, and so you're missing everything. And so Nephi, you need to catch on. There are 4 books of Nephi, just like there are 4 books of Kings in the Jewish scriptures. First 2 are in English as 1st and 2nd Samuel. Name of God. Kind of helps to know Hebrew too. Amazing. And so, Nephi is the Christ. He's in the Promised Land, because this is the rewritten 116 pages by Joseph Smith Sr. Because the facts are very clear, and Ex-Fo Nevermo's got it right. At least the ones who claim that Sidney Rigdon is the major author of the Book of Mormon. They just then take that and then screw it all up, saying it's all fraud. You took out the learning of the Jews. Can't do that. You have to put learning of the Jews with Joseph Smith Sr. rewriting 116 pages and Sidney Rigdon as the major author of the Book of Mormon. So there's a purpose and point here. This isn't for fraudulent money making. That's what Brigham did. Why are you so easily deceived and conned? And so he talks about great knowledge of the goodness and the mysteries of God. That's temple initiatories of the Egyptians. His language of the Egyptians, learning of the Jews. And so we get to verse 4. Commencement of the 1st year of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah. This is not literal history, remember? There's a reason for using Zedekiah here. There's a reason for using the 1st year here. This is prophecy of the latter days. This is the 1st year of the latter days. It's already happened. We already know this is correct. So let's see if they have 2 Kings 24:18 and 2 Chronicles 36:10. And when the year was expired, King Nebuchadnezzar sent and brought him to Babylon with the goodly vessels of the house of the Lord, and made Zedekiah his brother king over Judah and Jerusalem. Good for you. Is that you, Bruce? Did you do that, Bruce? Good for you. Good for you, Bruce. You screwed up on other important key issues. I will know better than I know now that I am a fraud, and I'm conning you. Obey and pay. And so a foreign government, Babylon, puts one of their people on the throne on the first year of the latter days. Kind of important to know the date and where on earth this is actually occurring, because it's not literal history, it's not Jerusalem. And so yes, I've already done the videos, we're not going to go over that. But that's how you study. You don't study by waiting for a feeling to tell you that this is literal history. You will be deceived and led astray. So yes, we already know, as the mark of the beast was put on the foreheads of everybody who voted for him. We already know who he is. Revelation chapter 13, it's him. Blatantly obvious. And yet evangelicals are saying, he's our Christ, he's gonna save the Jews and establish the kingdom of Jesus. Yeah, that's what the church is doing. They're going to betray you, evangelicals. It's a trap. The church is getting you to do their dirty work for them. And then the Arizona priesthood stepped in to do the church's dirty work down there. And so, yeah. Many prophets prophesying unto the people. What people? Mormons. Repent, Mormons. Great city, Salt Lake City, will be destroyed. It's coming. That's one of the things that Nelson failed. He paid the Judas price, and they failed. Jesus didn't show. Oh no. Poor Nelson. Poor Nelson. Lucifer's very... Wait a minute. Russell Marion is baby name meaning Lucifer. That's amazing. Who would have ever guessed that the Book of Mormon would have been correct on that prophecy? I thought it was just for Emmanuel. And so then he has his first vision. Pillar of fire dwelt upon a rock. It's not literal history, so it's not witchcraft. There's a reason why pillar of fire is used and rock. Moses had a pillar of fire on a burning bush. And Joseph Smith had a pillar of fire above the brightness of the sun, which descended gradually upon him until he saw two personages. Sun god at noonday, Egyptian god Amun. And so in verse 8, here's where we get the revelation of the date of the first year. And it comes from Revelation chapter 12, which, yes, the Joseph Smith translation puts verse 5 to verse 3 saying this is the date because this is the sign. They know. And there it is, 8 to 10. Because there's Jupiter, born of Virgo, as the sun at noonday, even though the sun is... I've done the videos. The latter days are over with. And then the 12 stars on Leo. So then this is an exact same pattern match for Joseph Smith's second vision. Because this is the learning of the Jews. This is what you're looking for Messiah ben Joseph to do. This is what you're looking for Messiah ben David to do. Messiah ben David is supposed to tell you about dreams he had in which he receives the authority and the keys and demonstrates them with the gifts, the results. So in the book of Numbers, Miriam and Aaron are going to coup Moses. And so the Lord comes down and says, if there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. Ta-da! They're not literal history. Visions, dreams. Seer. Seer. Prophet predicts the future. Revelator predicts the dates of when the prophecies will be fulfilled. Because of Joseph Smith's translation, Revelation chapter 12. Note the chain sequence of events. And there appeared a great sign in heaven, in the likeness of things on the earth. Sign in the heaven, revelation, likeness of things on the earth, prophecy. Learning of the Jews. Ta-da. And so now you just take this template, that's an hour long, and the majority of Mormons don't believe, deny the Christ. They're not working their way back to you, babe. Burning love in my bosom. It's going to be the themes on the description below in case you haven't caught on. Hippers. So, there you have it. So yeah, that's what we're waiting for. With Israel bombing Iran last night, we're now going to see things escalate. Hezbollah's leader, terrorist leader, says that he's going to purposely escalate things, threatening Israel not to defend themselves. If you didn't know, Hezbollah has also been joining with Hamas against Israel. They are first cause, not Israel. And so, as first cause, they're saying, don't you defend yourself, Israel, or we're going to escalate. That's a threat. It's a terrorist threat. And you got Biden saying, oh, Israel, don't do it. Bleep you, Biden. Dear God. Anti-Semite Catholic. Step in and help the Jews with whatever they want you to help them with. No questions asked. The Jews must be preserved. They are the innocent ones. Remember? What thank ye the Jews for the Bible that you replaced with Christianity. Even Islam is Christian. Allah, translated as we. Trinity. Huh, I wonder where Muhammad got that idea from. Going to the top of the mountain to receive the Quran. Oh, that isn't replacing the Jewish prophet. Oh, Muhammad is called the prophet. Evil. And so yes, Muhammad then went on his missionary campaign to convert or die. Burning the villages. smell women's perfume. Much better than the cigarette or cigar smell I was smelling earlier. We're done.